Here, we're going to be looking at how to simplify algebraic expressions, and specifically we're going to learn our first tool that will help us to do this, which is called combining like terms. To discuss this, let's start by looking at an example using fruit. So here, imagine that we have 2 apples plus 3 more apples. If we think about taking 2 apples and 3 more apples, we would have 2 apples here plus 3 apples here. If we count them all up, adding them together, we of course have 5 apples. And notice that is 2 plus 3 is 5 apples. So we have 5 full apples here. Five apples. 2 apples plus 3 apples is 5 apples. Now, how does this connect with algebra? Let's take these apples and change it. Instead of writing that, we'll write 2x plus 3x. If we look here, we have a very similar problem, but instead of apples, we have x's. This is saying we have 2 x's plus 3 x's. 2 plus 3 is 5. This tells us we have 5 x's. This is an example of combining like terms. Each of these are considered a term. Each of them have x in them, so we combine them by looking at the numbers or coefficients that are in front of the letter or variable. Here our coefficients are 2 and 3. 2 plus 3, we get 5. So 2x plus 3x is 5x. But what happens if we go back to our fruit problem, but we have more than one fruit? Let's say then we have also 1 cherry plus 5 cherries. Now, 1 cherry plus 2 apples. Now, we know that if we take a cherry and 2 apples, we're not going to have 3 apples or 3 cherries. We just have 1 of this and 2 of this. They can't be combined. Same thing with 3 apples and 1 cherry. Those can't be combined. But here we have 1 apple plus, or 1 cherry plus 5 more cherries. Those can be combined. If we have 1 plus 5, that means in the end we have 6 cherries. So now all of this becomes 5 apples plus 6 cherries. And we know that we can't have apple cherries, we can't combine these. So we just leave it like that. The same thing can happen with our algebra problems. Maybe we have a second variable. Instead of 2x plus 3x, we have 1y plus 2x plus 3x plus 5y. Just like the apples and cherries, adding an x and adding a y doesn't work. We can't combine those. So what we have to do is look at our y's, find both of them. In this case, there's 2. 1y plus 5y tells us that there is 1 plus 5, 6y. So if we were asked to simplify this, we would simplify it by combining our like terms, our x's and our y's, to make 5x plus 6y. So let's look at a few examples of how to do this and some different things that might come up. So this one's fairly similar to the one we did with apples and cherries. 2x plus 4y plus 1x plus 5y. The first thing we want to do here is find our like terms. What are our terms with the same variables? Here we have 2x and 1x. Those would go together. and then 4y and 5y would go together. So then we look at adding each of those like terms. 2x plus 1x makes 3x. We can make a little arrow here showing that. But then we add the next part. We look at our y's. 4y plus 5y makes 4 plus 5, 9y. These are not like terms. X and y can't be combined. So our final answer, 3x plus 9y. The other thing that might come up is we have variables, but also numbers without variables. Imagine again that the x's are apples. If we have 5 apples plus just the number 4, we can't combine a number with a number of apples. They just stay separate. Here as well, 5x plus 4, these are not like terms. 5x and 3x are like terms, so we can underline those with the same color. Plus 4 and plus 2 are both just numbers. Those, that looks a little similar, do a green. Those we can underline with the same color. And then we can add our like terms. 5x plus 3x, 5 plus 3 is 8. 4 plus 2 is 6. There are no letters here, so we'll just write plus 6. And again, a number and a term with x can't be combined, so that's our answer. 8x plus 6 is our simplified answer. There's one more case we need to look at, and that's if we have negatives or minus signs. Here we have 2x minus 5y minus 4x plus 7y. So what do we do with these negative signs? Well, let's start by identifying our like terms. For the x's, 2x would go with 4x. But notice that this is minus 4x. What we need to do is always look at the sign to the left of our term to know whether it's positive or negative. Since this is minus 4x, this is saying 2x minus 4x, or 2 minus 4. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. So that means these two combine to make negative 2x. Then we want to look at our y's. 5y, but again, what is the sign to the left of it? Minus. Negative 5y. And 7y, the sign is plus, so that's positive. Negative 5 plus 7, this is positive 2. So when we combine these together, these make plus 2y. And one other thing we want to watch for is when we get a negative answer. So let's say we have one more example here. 5x minus 2y minus 3y plus x. Here, we look at our like terms, 5x plus x. Now here's something that we haven't seen. If we just have x, think about if this is an apple, we just had apple. That would mean we have one apple. So when a number isn't written in front, we imagine and know that it's 1. So 5x plus 1x makes 6x. Here, our y's are negative 2y, or minus 2y, and minus 3y. So negative and negative. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. Since it's negative, what we want to make sure is we put a minus in front. So it's minus 5y. So then our final answer here, 6x minus 5y. So we've seen how we can combine like terms, we identify the like variables or just the numbers and combine them, adding or subtracting. We want to make sure to always look at the left side of the term to know whether a number is positive or negative.